In 1980, China was poor, isolated, and decades behind the West. Today, it challenges the United States for global dominance. Hundreds of millions escaped poverty. Cities exploded into megacities. Factories turned into the engine of the world. The real question is not that China became powerful, but how it did it in just 40 years. And the answer is far more strategic than most people realize. Before we begin, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because on this channel, we break down the biggest geopolitical and economic transformations shaping our world. To understand China's rise, we need to go back to the late 1970s. For decades under Mao Zedong, China followed a strict communist economic model. Private business was almost non-existent. Productivity was low. Millions lived in poverty. China was politically powerful but economically weak. Everything changed in 1978 when a leader named Deng Xiaoping took control. Instead of continuing rigid socialism, Deng made a radical decision. He kept the Communist Party in power, but opened the economy to capitalism. This was the first turning point. China created special economic zones in places like Shenzhen. These zones allowed foreign companies to invest, build factories, and produce goods cheaply. Western corporations suddenly had access to something extremely valuable: massive labor at extremely low cost. Companies rushed in, factories multiplied, production exploded. China quickly became the manufacturing center of the world. By the 1990s and early 2000s, almost everything was being made there: electronics, clothing, machinery, toys, tools, and eventually high-tech components. But cheap labor alone does not create a superpower. China had a long-term strategy. Instead of spending all profits immediately, the government reinvested heavily into infrastructure. Highways, ports, airports, high-speed rail networks, power plants, and massive industrial zones appeared across the country. Infrastructure gave China a huge advantage. Goods could move faster and cheaper than in many Western countries. At the same time, China invested heavily in education and engineering. Every year, Chinese universities began producing huge numbers of engineers, scientists, and technicians. The country slowly moved from simple manufacturing to advanced technology industries. This was the second turning point. China was no longer just assembling products. It was learning to design them. Then came another massive step in 2001, when China joined the World Trade Organization. This opened global markets even further. Exports exploded. Foreign companies poured even more money into China's economy. Within 2 decades, China's GDP multiplied several times. But economic growth was only part of the strategy. China also built global influence. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, China financed railways, ports, highways, and infrastructure projects across Asia, Africa, and Europe. Many countries began depending on Chinese investment and trade. At the same time, China invested billions into technologies like artificial intelligence, 5G networks, electric vehicles, and renewable energy. Today, China leads the world in several of these sectors. But the most important factor behind China's rise may be something less visible: long-term planning. While many democracies operate in short political cycles, China often plans decades ahead. Industrial policy, infrastructure expansion, and technological development are coordinated at a national level. The result? In just 40 years, China transformed from an agricultural economy into the second-largest economy on Earth. It is now a global leader in manufacturing, technology, infrastructure, and international trade. And the next question the world is asking is even bigger. Will China eventually surpass the United States as the dominant global superpower? That answer may define the rest of the 21st century. If you want more deep breakdowns about geopolitics, global power, and the forces shaping our future, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because the next decades may reshape the world just as dramatically as the last 40 years.